Yes, you read the title correct. Today we're gonna build the perfect crossover. So step one is realizing that is possible. So a crossover is basically just a combination of timing, fluidity, ball control, footwork, and all of that stuff can be broken down and simply learned. Anybody can build a lethal crossover. Really important, we really gotta focus on the details. So anybody can do a crossover, but not anybody can do it effectively. That's the difference. But we're gonna simply break down the crossover from the ground up to master it. Let's get to it. So first of all, step one, we gotta look at what even is a crossover. A crossover is a counter move. So the crossover itself is not the move. The initial move is to simply blow by. So that's really important to understand. And then when you blow by a couple times, the defender understands, all right, he's a threat to blow by this way. And then when you fake that way and go the other way, your crossover becomes way more lethal. So first of all, we gotta simply work on getting into a drop position and blowing by from there. That is step one. So what even is the drop? The drop is basically just this right here. This stance where you have one foot in front and one foot in the back. Step one, we don't need a basketball. We're simply gonna work on getting into this drop stance. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Step two, we're gonna work on actually pushing off from that drop position. So right now we simply worked on getting into it. Now we're gonna work on actually applying force in that position. So really simple. We're simply pushing off and then resetting. Also work on going from high to low. So that's what we're gonna need later when we add the ball. And then we're gonna add the basketball and we're simply gonna work on blowing by out of this movement pattern. Again, you don't have to be too aggressive, so don't be too tensed up and don't push off too hard. Still try to be relaxed. And then once we got that down, then we can focus on the crossover. So now we're gonna start to work on that cross. So let's go over a couple things that make the crossover effective. So first of all, we gotta be able to completely unload one foot and put our entire body weight on one foot. So we gotta be able to shift our entire body weight. That is why on a lot of those shifty guards, when they cross over, you see that their back foot is actually internally rotated. So it's kind of turned sideways. And that's because their entire body weight is literally on that foot that they sell the crossover with. And that allows them to completely sell the drive, and that is what makes the crossover so effective. So for now, we gotta master that part of the cross, that weight shift and that strength and that mobility we need to actually sell the cross. So right here, what you see are some of the best drills to work on this. So we're simply gonna go through some hip shift variations. On the first variation, we kind of go slowly. So we simply just rock back and forth. So the goal right here is not to go as fast as possible. It's simply to shift our entire body weight. So as you can see, my other foot is again turned sideways and I put my entire body weight on one foot. Then on the second variation, we actually increase the speed. So now we actually rock back and forth as quickly as possible. But again, we shift our entire body weight. So now it's gonna feel a little bit more like a crossover. And then on the third variation, we actually go into it from high to low. So that now it really gets more specific to the crossover. So now we start upright and then we drop low and then we get into those 3 hip shifts and then we raise up again. So again, work on literally letting yourself fall down. So don't even force it, simply let yourself fall down and then get into these 3 quick hip shifts. And again, put your entire body weight on one foot. Shift your entire body weight. That's the key with these exercises. But then we actually got to apply all of this to the crossover. So by now we worked on some movement principles, some key aspects of the crossover, but we actually got to put it into action. We got to work on the crossover itself, because the crossover is more about fluidity, timing, and in general it takes some time to get the entire movement down. So now it's about putting it all together. But it doesn't matter how well we can move, it doesn't matter how good our footwork is if we don't have the ball control and the ball manipulation to do the crossover. So some key aspects, we gotta get the ball outside of our body frame. So we cannot be tight with a crossover. We don't want to be here close to our body. We actually want to be outside of our body frame to actually sell the cross. So we first of all got to be able to get the ball outside of our body frame, and then we got to be able to control the ball when it's outside of our body frame. So first of all, simply work on dribbling the ball regularly like this, and then simply work on pulling the ball outside of your body frame. So as you can see on the regular dribble, my hand is on top of the basketball. I actually move my hand kind of to the inside and pull the ball out. And then from there, I kind of pull it here, boom, pull it out, and then I get into the cross. I pull it outside of my body frame. Boom. Boom. So work on that, but then also work on simply dribbling the ball as wide as possible, because we also got to be able to control the ball out here. So simply work on that, and then you can also start to shift your weight a little bit, but simply get comfortable dribbling the ball as wide as possible. So now we basically went over every single small detail about the crossover that is actually relevant, and now it's simply about practicing the cross. We get into this drop position, we get the ball outside of our body frame, and from there we shift our entire body weight, and then into the cross. Drop, sell the drive, shift your entire body weight. So there's no drill, there's no way around, simply getting thousands of reps, perfecting what you want to get better at. So now simply work on the cross. Always get back to these progressions. So this is not just you do it once and then you master it all of a sudden. This takes time, but you can do this little workout right here pretty much every single day. And by the time, if you do all of the things you worked on before, and then you also combine that with working on the crossover, so what you see right now, I mean, your crossover and in general your ball handling and movement is really going to go through the roof. Because with that weight shift stuff which, for example, worked on, this is not just for your crossover, this applies to all of your basketball movements. Yes sir, so that is it. That's the blueprint, that's the recipe. So now all you gotta do is apply it. Leave a like if you liked the video, comment, subscribe if you're new. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, and see y'all next time.